Hello everyone, and welcome back. Top of a new diagonal. Okay, you can see either way I'm gonna have to cross or do something out of order. Yep. Because if I do these ones, these crescents, it's gonna close in that other one, that square one. And if I do the square ones, I'm gonna want to come from up here and loop down. So either way, I'm gonna have to break my guidelines today. Unless I have a really short piece, we'll see. Because what I could do, I do. Okay, then I think what I'm actually going to do, instead of breaking my guidelines, I found a way around it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to join a new piece right here in this corner and carry it to the right, and I'm going to do a small piece to the other two stitches that are down to the left when I get to them. So then I didn't have to go out of order. Yeah, sometimes it's just not possible to do them all in order, but when I can, I do. So this one in the corner. Park it there. So now I can do this crescent stitch without closing anything in. Oh, I can see this is not a very long piece either, but that's all right. Okay. So now I will use a short piece, a little leftover piece, and do those two. And then I didn't have to close anything in. Oh, pardon me. There we go. Perfect. Lots of this color again. That's all right. Okay. Oh, and lots of this one, yeah. Oh, needle trying to escape. Okay. So, again, just gonna check the lengths of all my threads. I'm thinking I'm probably going to be finishing one off. Yeah, because there's more threads than there are stitches, so So we're almost at the column here, a stone pillar, which means we're getting close to the edge. So I'll have to see how long it took me to do that pass across the width of my project. So I think I got 3 more to go if I keep with the 60 rows down as I've been doing. That's just what fits in my frame since I'm using 14 count. If I was stitching on a higher count, then obviously more would fit. I do have a upcoming project planned for 18 counts, so we'll see how much fits in my frame. Probably be 70 or 80 rows, or maybe more, depending on what fits comfortably. Still gridding up that piece. Yeah, so many projects and not enough time. Such is life. There. So I did those stitches so that way I could do these all in one go. Hopefully. Okay, so fairly long. Yeah, looks like this will be just right. Yes, our bathtub is finally in, which is nice. I can take showers again. I was able to take baths, but not showers, and I'm a shower person. But yeah, it was. Husband was so frustrated because the inner workings of the plumbing for the spout in the shower, you can't get one made of metal. They're all plastic. And so it's really touchy to try and get it, because if you don't tighten it enough, of course, it's going to leak. And if you over tighten it even the tiniest bit, the whole thing cracks, which is what happened the first one. Yeah, I mean, you would think you could get one made of copper or something, but he said he went to every hardware store and they only had the same cheap brand, so. But fortunately, that is done. So hopefully that lasts us a good long while. Yeah, that first tub was over 40 years old, so. Okay, so I may actually, I'm gonna do this color first so that I can do a whole bunch in one go around it without closing things in. 3, 3, 4, 6. Yeah, so my son's already picking his electives for the next school year. He's going to be in 10th grade, which is just, how the heck did that happen? Oh, sometimes I can't believe he's even in high school. High school starts at grade 8 here. I know it's different in some other places. And yeah, because we have 2 tracks of school systems here, because one is the Catholic school system and one's the public school system. And with the public school system, they have middle school. So I think it's grades, kindergarten to grade 6 is elementary, and then 7, 8, 9 is middle school, and then, or is it 8, 9, 10? Something like that. 8, 9, 10 is middle school, something like that, and then the last couple of grades are high school. And then for the Catholic school system, it's just kindergarten to 7 is elementary, and then 8 to 12 is the high school. Yeah, it sure flies by, especially once your kids are in school. Holy cow, it just zooms past. Yeah, and he signed up for driver's ed, because they're offering that at the school as a non-credit course, so my goodness. Yeah, my husband taught me to drive, because I didn't learn as a teenager. They didn't have driver's ed at my school. Got cut for funding. So he's been teaching our son, but he said, hey, it's probably a good thing if he's to learn from more than one instructor, right? Yeah. One person might not catch a bad habit you're developing and the other might, so. Yeah, before I know it, he'll be graduating. My gosh. So next year he wants to take carpentry and cooking, so yeah. Knock on wood, it's been nice out there, but they are calling for some more snow. Ugh. I was thinking, oh, it's finally spring thaw, and then I thought to myself, but don't jinx it. It's only April. And yeah, wouldn't you know it, we got forecast 5 centimeters. But the forecast is a ways away, so maybe it'll change by then. One can hope. Okay, so I'm going to decide what way I want to do this. Because as you can see, yeah, to keep from closing things in, I think I can see what I'm going to do. Okay. Yeah, if you're familiar with my method, I wonder if you can see what I've planned before I tell you what it is. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I'm making a loop start, and my loop got caught around the zipper on my sweater. Oh goodness. Getting all tied up. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do these 3 that are along that edge. Because yes, I have a way to do this with one strand that will not involve closing stuff in. So these 3. All right, and then I'm going to park it right underneath, oh, there, right underneath this number 4 symbol. Then I'm going to fill in all these stitches that are to the left, and then I'm going to, yeah, so I'm going to go back to that color, 780. Okay. There, tuck those two out of my way. And another one. There. And now, yeah, now I come back to this color and I didn't have to close anything in and I didn't have to join another thread. There. All right, that's a long piece. I'm going to check out this other one. Yeah. Just trying to figure out what I want to do. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep both. There's enough stitches to do both. Okay. So these three in the corner. All right, and then I'm gonna tack it along the back since the stitches between it and where I'm gonna park it are done. I want the carry to be nicely anchored. Yeah. So that will anchor it, and then I'm gonna park it right down here. Oh my gosh. Thread doesn't want to stay in my tray. It keeps sticking to my hands. Okay, so this is kind of the edge of the column. I'm just gonna leave it. It's close to the line. I'm just gonna leave it for the next diagonal. That's because I feel like it. Okay, so here's a short one. Yes, this was the one I decided to have 2 strands. Yeah, because there happened to be 2 already attached, and the way that the stitches are situated just made sense to me. Might not make sense to anyone else, but it makes sense to me. There we go. Oh, dear, pardon me. Okay. Let's see what length of threads I have. Whether I'm going to do all 4 of those as one strand, or yeah, I have lots of little strands, so I can split them up. That'll work just fine. I just forgot to color that one in, didn't I? Yep. I was thinking I don't have 3 strands there. No. I have only 2. I just forgot to color one in. Okay, 413. Goodness, my neighbor's truck has squeaky brakes. Don't know if you can hear it, but I can hear that. Very high pitched. Ugh. Yeah, when my husband and I were first dating, he had a truck that had really squealy brakes, and I was still living with my parents because I was 19, couldn't afford my own place, and so I joked it was a really bad coming in after curfew truck, because yeah, you'd hear when you wanted to slow down. So, you know, let me out a block away, walk home. Nah, actually, I didn't really have a curfew at that point. Yeah, I was paying a little rent to my parents, so as long as I wasn't coming in, you know, super loud late at night, I could come and go as I pleased. So, yeah. Okay. Let me see the length of that one. That's parked there. Okay, super short, so not worth really parking anywhere. Okay, and then this other one here that I was working with earlier, that is a longer. Okay. Okay, so I can see what I plan to do. Okay. Yeah, it's hard to believe we had our 20th wedding anniversary earlier this year. It doesn't feel like that long. That's for sure. I don't feel old enough for it to have been that long, but it has been, so yeah. There. Yeah, I was looking at our old wedding video, our photos, thinking, man, we were such babies. We were so young. Yeah, I was 20 and he was 25. That one did not want to come out with the needle still on. Oh my goodness. Ugh, pain. All right. I think I barely got that threaded last time, so time to trim. Start with a clean edge. Yeah, this one too short. I will just end it off. Okay. another one. Okay. End some and start some. I think we're going to end off with about the same number of threads here as we started with. Okay. Okay. Yeah, this should be just long enough. I can also do this one last stitch there. So that way I don't have to join a new thread at that point. Works for me. be starting a new thread for that bit. Goodness, I had a lot of leftover threads of this color in the working tray. There we go. I kind of want it to tangle together. But we got it. Another little spare piece of thread just hanging on there. Okay, lots of color changing for this bit. Trying not to bonk my hands in the camera. So I'm stretching to smooth this out. Oh, right, I ran out of needles. I've been doing quite a bit of going to the left and working my way back, so when I do that, I tend to end up with more needles in play at one time. Okay, I think this one's threaded already. It is. Perfect. Okay, good. I can see a bunch of threads where I'm on the last stitch of that color, so I'll be able to thin this out a little bit. Okay. Yeah, like this one. Oh, throw it away. Oy. Yeah, this one as well. There. Want to thread it along the back, not come up to the front. There we are. This is a super short piece, but learn from experience I can get one more stitch out of this. Yeah, or I saw one person was saying they have slightly shorter needles so that they can really use all the thread. Or there was one where it was really unusual to me. It was like the eye was almost in the center of the needle, so either end could go through. I was thinking I would get confused by that, but it seemed kind of neat. Okay, so that one is done. So now I can do these two and that one. Yeah, which is what I wanted to do. So I did that one and that one. Then I'm going to park it. And put it away. There, so yeah, now I can do both of those together and then park this thread in the next diagonal. Nope. Yeah. I did not want to cooperate. That one doesn't look very smooth. Okay, I did end it off already. Okay. Just see if I can smooth it out a bit. There, yeah, if I go down next to it instead of up, and then I actually can use my little snag tool. There, kind of pull that to the back so it's even smoother. Again, probably nobody would notice it but me, but I'll be picky that way. All right, so this is a long one, but I didn't leave it threaded because I think I was running low on needles at the time. So I'm kind of working a bit into the next diagonal just because I'm trying to avoid closing stuff in. So in order to get that square, I don't know, pizza symbol done, I have to do this one first. Yeah, because that way I don't close it in when I do this one and carry it here. So yeah, that's why I chose to do that. So you can see I've gone past the line a bit. So yeah, and then I didn't go quite to the line here, so my diagonal lines are not super straight, but that's fine. Just a raw guide, a rough guide. There we go. And then again, doing these ones, even though it carries over, because that way I can do that other square pizza stitch below it. There. Yeah. Cool. Oh yes, that was the one that I had just enough left for this one stitch. Perfect. Oh, if I can manage to thread it, that is. Well, so in spite of having quite a few color changes, I actually did pretty well this session. Over 100. Okay, so okay. All right, so now I'm going to take all of these that are, yeah, firmly in the next diagonal and thread anything I've got still threaded. Yeah, and just tuck them away and carry on. All right, so I think I'm going to call it a day here, and thank you again for joining me, and I hope I will see you here next time. All right, thanks everybody. Bye.